Hi there guys, welcome back, and in this final video of this course we're going to be taking our C major key, which we constructed last time, and harmonizing it in sevenths. So what that means is instead of just having major chords, minor chords and diminished chords, which are all triads, we're now going to have major seventh chords, minor seventh chords, dominant seventh chords and minor 7 flat 5 chords, which are your kind of diminished sevenths. Okay, so what we need to do first of all is just establish how we're doing it. Just to remind you. Now, if I want to create, let's just say, for example, this major as a seventh chord, okay? I want to just throw something at you right now, okay? The obvious thing to say is that, well, it's got to be a major 7, right? Because that's the only major chord of the seventh chords, because we've got, and let me write this out for you, we've got the possibility that it could be a major 7, it could be a minor 7, it could be a dominant 7, or it could be a minor 7 flat 5, okay? I think that's fair. Now, when I look at the chord construction for these, I see that major 7 is 1, 3, 5, and 7. Minor 7 is 1, flat 3, 5, and flat 7. 7, so dominant 7 is 1, 3, 5, and flat 7. And then the minor 7 flat 5 is 1, flat 3, flat 5, flat 7, okay? So, here's a couple of things to bear in mind, okay? What we're going to do is divide here, okay? Where we've got our triad and our seventh, okay? If we just look at the triad for a moment, okay? We've got actually two different types of major chords, haven't we? Look, that 1, 3, 5 is major and that 1, 3, 5 is major. So it's not quite as simple as just saying all your major chords become major seventh, all your minor chords become minor seventh, and your diminished becomes diminished seventh, okay? There's a little bit of extra work to do here. So what we can say is that the C major, so the root chord major, becomes major seventh, okay? If we just simply look at this, we take the C, the third is E, the fifth is G, the seventh is B, it all fits in absolutely perfectly. This becomes major 7. Very cool. Okay, so now when you play that root note chord, if you play it as a seventh, it sounds great. It's really relaxed, but it still fits perfectly within the key. Now then, let's add that as a blue for a second. Now, let's look at the second chord, okay? Now, here's the next thing to be looking at here. These minor chords, well, if we just look at the basic triad, we only actually have one minor chord there, because that's clearly diminished. This is major, this is main, this is minor. So it's a fairly safe bet to say that all the minor chords do become minor 7, okay, when you add this extra layer of harmony. So we're going to do that. We've got minor 7, and minor 7, okay? So that's cool, that's great. That gives us all the right bits of information there, okay? Now let's just move on to the 4 chord, which is major at the moment. So again, it could be major 7 or it could be dominant 7. So let's just look at how would we work out which one of these it is, okay? And it's really simple. We quite simply work out an F major 7 and an F dominant 7 and see which one fits with these notes, okay? So that's how we originally created the harmonized principle, remember. So I'm going to do this really quickly for you, and I'm going to do it in red, so it's kind of a little off the screen, as it were. So I'm going to come just way over here and just be looking at an F major 7. Okay, so F maj 7. Okay. If I need to work this out fast, remember, I've got to think and roughly know my F major 7, F major scale in my head. Okay, and the F major scale, I'm just going to do it really quickly for you above here, is F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, and F, okay? That's your F major scale, okay? So the F major scale has got a B flat in it, okay? And if you had to do that slowly because you didn't know that, you do the same as we've done every single time. Tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone to find that scale, okay? Now we can apply the formula. So F major 7 is root, which is F, third, which is A, fifth, which is C, and seventh, which is E. Face! How about that? Now, straight away then, looking at this, you can see the F is there, the A is there, the C is there, and the E is there. So this is going to be an F major 7. Okay, so no need to even look at the dominant 7th, because we can already see that if I flatten this 7th, it would become E flat. E flat is not in my original set of notes, so we can't use that chord. Okay, so this will become F major 7. Okay, now let's just look at the G. Okay, so again, same process here. I'm just going to do the G major scale, which is G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and G. Okay, so G major has got an F sharp in it. Okay, and it's just tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone, as always. So let's look at G maj 7, G major 7. Now, if we're going to take the root, which is going to be the G, the third, which is B, the fifth, which is D, and the 7th, which is F sharp, that will give us that chord. Okay. Now, for me, looking at that, I can straight away see that G, B, and D fit lovely, G, B, D, but we've got F instead of an F sharp. We therefore cannot put a G major 7 here, okay, if we're going to be correct, you know, to the scale, okay. Instead, if we flatten that to become F, we've actually used this formula, haven't we? We've done a root, a third, and a fifth, and a flattened 7th, okay, which gives us a G7 chord, okay. So just to write that out, G, B, D, and F, and that fits perfectly, perfectly. So what that means is I can get rid of this, okay. We don't have the major anymore. Instead, we have just 7. Okay, so G7. Okay, and there we go. Okay, so we've now harmonized most of the scale. Okay, bearing in mind, of course, this 8 or this 1 is the same as the root note. So it's just a case of this diminished. Okay, so now I'm really going to test you, because we've got two different types of diminished chords, haven't we? We've got the minor 7 flat 5 and the diminished 7, or you might call them the half diminished and the whole diminished. Okay, now minor 7 flat 5 is that formula, and remember that also you've got the diminished 7, which I'm just going to put here now as dim 7, for example, is 1 flat 3 flat 5 flat flat 7. Okay, so that's just, we're going to use it just to show you why it's this one. Okay, there's a little teaser for you. It is this one, but I'm going to show you why. Okay, so we're going to do a B. We need to find out if it's B minor 7 flat 5 or B diminished 7. So I'm going to write out a B scale. Okay, so I'm going to come down here even further. Right, here we go. We're testing the board now. So B major scale, B, C sharp, D sharp, E, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, and B. Okay, that's a B major scale. Tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. Okay, now if I write down here the B diminished 7, so B dim 7, or you could use that little circle if you remember, that's going to be the root, which is B, the flat third, which will be D, the flat fifth, which will be F, and then a flattened A sharp, which will give you flat to A, and then another flat gives you A flat, doesn't it? Okay, so we can see straight away that the B, the D, and the F, B, D, F, fit perfectly, but the A flat does not work. Okay, however, if we just do B minor 7 flat 5, it's simply B, D, F, and A, because we've just flattened the A sharp to A, and that fits perfectly. Okay, ooh, so we've gone through that quickly, okay, deliberately, because this is a lot of extra work, okay, but the result is the key thing I want you to look at here. Okay, so now if I get rid of this diminished here, and instead of write diminished, I'm going to write minor 7 flat 5. Okay, how cool is that? So now our harmonized scale is major 7, minor 7, minor 7, major 7, dominant 7, minor 7, minor 7 flat 5, and then back to the root note. Okay, so there we have it. Now, your task here, guys, is to, with C, okay, put all of these chords on the guitar. play them wherever you can find them, okay? So play a C major 7 to a D minor 7 to an E minor 7 and so on and so forth, okay? And as you play through these chords, just be listening to how really perfectly they all work together. And that's because they're harmonized using notes from the same scale, okay? You can write endless tunes using this information, and you can also work out songs using this information, because this sounds good, doesn't it? That's a simple thing to say, it sounds good. So songwriters tend to use what sounds good. Even if they don't know the theory, they're probably going to stumble into using these chords together because they just sound good, they sound right. So you can pretty much put a safe bet on the fact that if you're listening to a pop song or a rock song or whatever, it probably fits in quite nicely with this theory. So if you work out it's in the key of C major, it's bound to have some, all, a few of these chords in it. Okay, so it's extremely useful theory, extremely useful theory. So what I want you guys to do is just get these together and then start testing yourself, you know, work it through. So try and do a D major scale harmonized or a G major scale harmonized and just work from there until it's so ingrained in your head that you can just do this really quickly on the guitar.